Hey, Mythicosians, old man Eric here, and as promised today, we're going to go over the order activation dice, specifically as it relates to deployment. So deployment's a little bit different than the turn sequence for the rest of the game. Um, Rest of the game after deployment turn, you can basically choose a unit that you want to activate with your highest value die. Any unit you have that hasn't activated yet, and assign that die and choose an action you need to do with them, and continue that in descending order uh, along with your opponent. Um, and that's how your turn goes. Deployment's a little different. Deployment, you're going to roll your dice pool, and it's one die for each unit. So right here we have the Inuit player has 7 units, and the Aztec player has 7 units. So they each get 7 unit activation dice. So their dice pool is 7 dice apiece. I've rolled them just before we started. Promise. We're going to lower this so that the camera can get a little bit of a better look at the dice. And there we go. So what we're looking at right here is the Aztec player has a 6-5-5-4-3-2-1. The Inuit player has a 6-6-5-5-4-3-2. So again, everything is in descending order. So if we look at the highest value as it goes down, there's a 6 here, but 2 6s here. So the Inuit player is going to have first deployment. So the thing that's interesting about deployment is you must remember, this is super important. The order in which you deploy your units is the order in which they will have to activate. So you're not deploying and then later assigning a die to whichever unit you wish to activate first. You are going to have to activate your units in the order in which you deployed them. So you got to be careful. I always make the mistake of deploying my high priest early on, which means that I'm going to waste his magic that first turn. So it's important for me when I'm playing Aztecs to remember to move him last or much lower in the order so that other things are in place for him to use his magic. So the Inuit player is going to take his first unit. We're going to deploy that unit over here. You're going to put the die down with the unit, and keep in mind that he has not activated yet. So this is the only time that this kind of goes on this way, only in deployment. So then as we go down, it's a 6-5-5-4, 6-5-5-4, tied to the 3, 2, but you have the 1, so this will actually take precedence over it. Any time that there is an actual tie in the die, the player that didn't just go gets the next go. So let's say I went and then we have a tie. My opponent is going to get to place his next die or activate his next unit. So it always alternates to the player that hasn't gone that turn. So there we go. So now the Aztecs are going to put their first guy out, and there's the die next to it. Another 6, so it takes precedence. Aztecs are going to put, oops, I'm sorry, Inuit are going to put another unit down. So as we look at the row of dice here, it's 5-5-4-3-2, 5-5-4-3-2-1. So this 5 is actually going to go first because there are a higher amount of dice in this line. So Aztecs are going to throw a unit down. There we go. 5-4, 5-5. So this 5 is going to go. And that is the Aztecs. I'm sorry, the Inuit again. Inuit are going to place. Now we're at 5-4-3-2. So 5-4-3-2-1. This 5 is going to go. The Aztecs will place. We now have 5-4-3-2 to 5-4-3-1. So that means that the Inuit dice have the higher value, and they're going to get to place their next number 5. There you go. So now there's a 4-3-2, a 4-3-2-1. So our stack value is here. So Aztecs again. 4-3-2 switches back here to the Inuit. We'll place that unit there. We're now at 3-2 and 3-2-1. So this 3 will go. Whoops. Keep mixing up my forces. 3, 2, the 3 will go. 2, 1, this 2 will go because the stack is higher than the single 2. We'll get that last Aztec model out. And then finally, that last die gets assigned to this Inuit unit. So now, as the game starts, the advantage was 2 Inuit because they had the 2 6s. So they're going to get the first unit activation of the game. And it has to be either of these 2 units. It cannot be any other unit because they're the ones with the highest value. So as I said in the beginning, however you deploy them, you must activate them. So it would be this 6, this unit would activate over to the Aztecs then because they still have the stacked higher value. This unit's going to activate, then back to the Inuit 6, and then on the stack again, I think the 5 on the Aztecs would go, and all the way down the line like that. So simple. And basically, always just remember that however you deploy them in the deployment round is how they're going to activate. So deployment is actually very much a part of that first turn. The great thing about that game mechanic for Mythic Earth is that you can, right, as the game starts, who's actually going to get the first action, who's going to get the last actions. So sometimes I know people lament that, oh my God, I'm going to end up deploying last. He's going to get choice. Well, that may be true to a degree, but you're also going to see exactly what he's lining up and what he's going to move first. And so you can deploy and react to that. So to me, that's a huge advantage. So that's how the unit activation deployment works. Again, questions, concerns, comments, just down on the bottom or on our Discord or Facebook. I hope this helps. Next up, I'm not sure. We may mix it up. Maybe we'll do something on unit types, all the different unit types and what makes up the different unit types in the game. Anyway, looking to see you across the table, and thanks a lot, guys.